Come out to the bar.
Hello, YouTube. Cheers, and welcome to the basement. My name is Bruce Lively.
And I'm D-Boy Slim.
And the basement is the first daily hip-hop debate show. From Tuesday through Friday, we tackle the most intriguing topics in hip-hop culture and the world around it. Now, we've been teasing this for a while now, but N9ne deserved a spot on this show. So we decided to do Eminem versus N9ne. And even comparing him to Eminem shows the amount of respect we got for N9ne. Anyway, this show is dedicated to you, Sam Yontz, you know you are, and the watcher Sierra Stanley. The way that you love N9ne, you made us really want to do this show. And to all you lovers of hip-hop out there, you know, we try to give y'all a different kind of hip-hop show, centered on heated and informed debate. Press that like button, press that subscribe button for content like nothing else on YouTube. I promise you. Anyway, N9ne versus Eminem. Let go.
Eminem versus N9ne.
That's right.
N9ne.
N9ne versus Eminem.
I ain't gonna sit up here and hold y'all up. He does have a nice flow, the traditional Midwest rapid fire delivery, and he has a large, strong following. That is about all I know of N9ne. So to sit up here and act like I know all of his material, I'm not gonna do that. But I do know Eminem, however, and I think y'all know Eminem. Let's go down some of the stats with him. After the debut album, Infinite in '96, the Slim Shady LP, y'all remember that one, right? '97, he signed with Dr. Dre and Aftermath. Subsequently achieved mainstream popularity in 1999.
Okay.
Which earned him his first Grammy Award for the Best Rap Album. I'm gonna pause right there for a second. Y'all pardon me. For all that said about N9ne and all that we're about to go back and forth about, I'm not sure he's won any Grammys. And they say, well, what does that mean? Or, well, it's probably the highest achievement for a musician. It's probably the highest award that you can receive as a musician in the music industry.
This guy changes up more than goddamn underwear, man.
So, what do you mean?
Whenever I'm bringing up the Grammys, it's an inconsequential part of the deal. You're bringing it up as the highest esteemed award in music history.
Well, you gotta stick with the argument.
What's going on now?
You can't go back to arguments from months ago because I don't remember what we were talking about.
Oh, man. We got tapes.
It might have been about a different premise.
Okay.
But in any event,
go ahead.
He's trying to sidetrack you because N9ne obviously hasn't won a Grammy. But him has. And like I said, he definitely should be regarded in your top 10 as one of the best lyricists, best rappers of all time, period.
I'll tell you what. I also think that, having a Grammy is worth something. Winning Grammys. But there's another part that's close to me and I think the fans of N9ne, and that's the fact that he is completely unadulterated independent artist. That's why he hasn't won a Grammy, because it's very hard to get out into the academy, the music academy that is, get heard without the backing of mega millionaires such as Aftermath at the time. It's very hard to get out. But it proves another point that I think cannot ever be overstated, but is understated. To do what Tech-N9ne has done, have the millions of fans that he has, and be regarded in all musical circles as the #1 independent artist all by himself, is something that Eminem didn't do. Without Aftermath, I'm not sure if we know who Eminem is. But Tech, on his own, did it. And I believe I said this in the last show, so much so that he's got a list of artists on his own label now that he funds, and he puts the money up. And each one of those artists have millions of views. Some of them have thousands, most of them millions. Since 1999, your boy has 22 albums. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them are under his Collabos project, where he collabs with the likes of T.I., Big Crit. Some of our favorite artists have collabed with this guy, Busta Rhymes. And not to mention Eminem. I honestly believe that the reason why this debate works is because they're so close. The style, this style is called choppers. In Midwest, we call this chopper style. The fast rap, displacing your rhymes in different parts of the syllable, displacing your rhymes in different parts of the beat, while going as fast and as clearly as possible. It's called the chopper style, and Eminem, it's a Midwest thing. Eminem and Tech-N9ne are two of the best at it. They both are producing their own music. They both are acting. They're both writing their own stuff, okay? But the one thing why I think Tech-N9ne wins this debate, there's a strangulation cipher. No, I'm sorry, strangulation. STRANGEULATION. Go look at it. Strangulation cipher. Tech-N9ne is in there, and he says to the crowd, people ask him, why do I sound like Eminem? Or what do I think of Eminem sounding like me? Or how am I different? And he says, you know what? The way I'm different is I'm black, and I can say the word nigga and not get in trouble. Okay, so of course, this is a rap. This is all in metaphor. But the point is deeper that I think needs to be spoken. Eminem usually gets very introspective, and what he can do that nobody else does is talk about himself and his pain, and in a way that nobody else talks about it. When he said he threw up mom's spaghetti on his shirt, it was, when we spoke about that level of introspection doesn't happen in hip hop because you usually have to be better than everybody else. He's willing to put his heart on his sleeve and show that he wasn't at one time, and it brings hope to a lot of people to see his story. On the other side, Tech-N9ne can talk about the struggle of the rest of us in a way that Eminem doesn't. A lot. He has before, 1 or 2 songs. But when Tech-N9ne speaks on the struggles, what it is to be a blood in Kansas City, what it means to go through the struggle of being black and poor, there's a lot of people that can't relate to Eminem. They can't relate to it because he's talking about his trailer park, but the most of the poor people and the most of the disenfranchised people and the most of the people who are under a rule of oppression are not white. They're not. So when Tech-N9ne has this broader canvas to paint on, simply because hip-hop is about the struggle, and the struggle that he comes from, he's allowed to talk about what more people have gone through in this struggle. Now, that's no fault of Eminem's, and I don't even nobody can hold it against him. But it's also the reason why when you look at the plethora of rhymes that both of them have, 90% of Eminem's is funny and about Ellen DeGeneres or J-Lo or in jokes and comedy. And maybe about 70% of Tech-N9ne's rhyme is about the struggle, police brutality, the black plight, poor white plight. He can just talk about more and does. I don't know if Eminem can't, but I know that what he's good at is his personal struggle. But what I like more is less comedy and the overall struggle. That puts him in a class all of his own, completely independent. What you think?
I completely disagree. From the standpoint, you said that 90% of M's raps are joking or laughable or not as serious, I guess was your point. To that I would say the material that he does choose to come out with, which is serious and does have serious content, is classic songs. I'm speaking of songs such as Motherfuckers Act Like They Forgot About Dre. Where with that single song may have resurrected Dre's career and also began his. I'm speaking of songs like Stan, which is another serious song with a serious message, a serious subject matter to it. That's another hip-hop classic song. You mentioned a lot of N9ne songs, but which one's a classic? And that brings me to my point of, I'm not going to get into who has more numbers, who sold more records, because that's obviously Eminem.
Yeah, it's not even what we're talking about.
And that's easy to tell. But like I said, there is a difference when some of those same songs that have sold millions of records internationally are actually classic songs that will, I think, stand the test of time. I Am Whatever You Say I Am. Another classic song by him. So it's not like, he doesn't have serious content. He has serious content. And like I said, by now, unless you've been under a rock the last 20 years, you know that they're classic household hip-hop songs. Now, after the 99 album that I mentioned, that won the Grammy for Best Rap Album, 2000, he follows that up with the Marshall Mathers LP, which had worldwide success and went diamond. Sold over 10 million. 2002, he comes out with the Eminem Show. Guess what? It went diamond. Another 10 million. That doesn't happen every day. I don't care who you are and what side of the tracks you come from and what story you're telling. Obviously, it's resonating with the masses. What's ironic about him is that he told the story of a white boy from the other side of the tracks. From 8-9. He was co-signed by one of the pioneers of gangster rap. Fact. How ironic is that? The gangster from Compton. So, I can't take anything from his story. He made his story stick. He made it resonate to us. Now we do know that there was the white boy from the other side of the tracks that was just as hip-hop as the guy who grew up in the city housing projects in the middle of the city.
That's true.
What I would also like to say is, he had a span where in 99 he dropped Slim Shady, it won the Grammy for the Best Rap Album. In 2000 he dropped Eminem, Marshall Mathers LP, it sold 10 million. He followed it up a year later with another LP, the Eminem Show, which sold another 10 million.
Macklemore won over Kendrick Lamar. I think that there's a reason why they're so quick to give him the Grammy. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I'm just saying, let's think about that.
10 million records sold.
That's facts. That's facts.
That's diamond. That's stuff Michael Jackson and Prince have done.
That's facts.
I'm not even, Macklemore is something else. You never hear somebody put Macklemore up against Jay-Z and Nas. You won't hear that because the skills. I was listening to Rakim yesterday, and he said, what are you bringing to the game? And that's something that M brought. That was his staple. That was his hallmark. That was his calling card. It wasn't that he had the biggest chain. It wasn't that he had the fanciest car. It wasn't that he was a blood from Detroit. It wasn't that he was a Crip from Compton. We talk about M because he has skills.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
I don't think N9ne is on that level.
I do. And what I'm going to do for this is going to be my final point, is I'm just going to bring up when they went head to head. Before I do that, you mentioned Marshall Mathers, the Eminem Show, and Slim Shady, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. On each of those, there were 2 singles that were really good. But I actually have all 3 of those albums. On one of them, Triumph, the comedy, the insult dog, was a superstar in one of them albums. On the other one, he's killed Dre at least 5-6 times on the album, and all fun and games. And on the last one, it was completely introspective and mainly talking about him and his drug problems. And I think he did that on the Rehab album as well. So, like I said, 90%, there's a reason why I use that word 90%. The number 90% is because although all of those albums were great and showed great skill, 90% of the time on those albums that you mentioned, it was comedy rap. It was pure and complete comedy rap. And on each one of those, you got something on there that was really good or socially minded or could relate to whatever it is.
Name a classic Tech-9 song.
But no, I'm talking. This is my part to speak now.
Name me a classic Tech-9.
The reason why you find it hard to find what we call a classic is because he's independent and it never got to a lot of people. A lot of Tech-9 fans in there. You name me a classic Tech-9 song. Leave it there in the comment and show him what he's missing. Show him what he forgot about. Because any song I name, you won't call it a classic because you don't know it. Y'all Tech-9 fans, show him down there what he's missing. Give him those classic songs that he's made and his contribution to hip hop. But last of all, on a song called Speed 'Em, right? This is the most perfect example of why I would choose Tech over M, is when they came together head to head in the song called Speed 'Em. While Eminem killed the style, the chopper style, he chopped it up. I mean, he chopped it up better than Tech-9 did on his own song. Eminem's known for doing that. But his verse was riddled with jokes and disses and condemnations of Ellen DeGeneres and other stars and hee-hees and ha-has. Tech-9's verse actually spoke about history of hip-hop at one point. He brought Slick Rick into there. He mentioned Twista, was talking about the chopper style. But it was no jokes. He started talking about hip-hop itself, and I think that was the main gist of it. But I heard 2 different people get on the same song and chop it up. And both of them had amazing skill, but only one of them could do without the Ellen DeGeneres jokes for 3 minutes. And that was Tech-9. And that's what I look for in an artist of that caliber. So, if it's Eminem versus Tech-9, I'm gonna take the one with the less amount of jokes and the more amount of real.
You say jokes, real. I sat here and I named classics for you. Classics that will stand the test of time. I asked you to name me one Tech-9 classic. You told me that I wouldn't know of it if you did name it. Like I said, if it was a classic, then I probably would know it. I listen to classic music. Furthermore,
I can't stand this guy, man.
Because, the guy has serious content, it doesn't necessarily mean that it always resonates with the people. And I say that because there have been other artists over time, Raz Kaz, that kick messages, they could tell you about the scriptures in the 1800s and
immortal technique,
so on and so forth, but it doesn't always resonate with the people. It's obvious. M is felt. He's felt, the white boy from the other side of the tracks. Obviously, it's resonated, not only with his side, but with our side. And when I say our side, I mean the black people or people that didn't grow up on his side of the track.
I got those albums. You're right.
So, like I said, when the question is that, who's a better MC or who's a better rapper, I have to go with him. Because like I said, I've never heard anybody, underground, overground, East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, down South, if you say top 10, I've heard Eminem's name on various lists, whether that be MTV or Bruce and D-Boy Slim's list. I've heard him on various lists. I've never heard N9ne on anybody's list when you say top 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I heard his name. His name resonates and rings bells. Let's not say that. But you know what? This is up to you guys, because the truth is, these are both great artists, and we knew this coming in. I didn't even know it would go this long, but yeah, I'm glad it did, because these are both great artists. And I think it's a disservice to N9ne to not talk about him when you're talking about your top whatever. He doesn't have to make it, but he deserves to be mentioned. Look at him. Take a look at both of them. What do you guys think? Who won this debate? I mean, the funny hee ha ha? Or am I overstating that? Because obviously he resonates with more people than many other rappers have ever resonated
and don't
with.
get me twisted, people. I'm not sitting up here saying that N9ne is a whack artist either.
Right.
I'm not sitting here telling you that he's trash. Music is trash. But when in comparison to Eminem, Eminem is definitely regarded as one of the greats. And it's debatable whether he's, the top MC or in the number 10. But he's definitely, deserves to be regarded as one of the top 10 to ever do it of all time. N9ne, I don't know.
N9ne is 22 albums though.
Y'all leave the comments. I know there's a lot of N9ne fans out there.
Yeah.
That's why we did this show. Y'all leave the comments.
Y'all leave the comments.
What's up with Tech?
Y'all leave them comments, man. That being said, we got 2 shout-outs. 2 shout-outs today. We have more than that, and they're coming. I'm going to try to pull them all together on Friday, but 2 that I want to talk about. Sean Loso. Sean Loso said Gotti need to fall back before he gets indicted. First of all, thank you, Sean. Thank you, Sean Loso, for commenting and watching the show. I want us to all be very careful about how we say Gotti's name, and indictment, and shots, and guns, and whatever else.
He ain't been charged with nothing.
He hasn't been charged with anything, and for all we know, he was backstage or on his way home at the time. So I just want us to all be very careful what we write, what we type, what we say, because we don't want to get somebody indicted who didn't do it. But I feel you, Sean Loso. I feel you. And you're really looking out for him in that statement. I just want everybody to be careful.
Appreciate it.
But we appreciate you. Appreciate you. Also, Steve Paris. You said, why is it that man, I'm a popular guy out here. I don't know. Steve Paris, you said, who said that you only have 72 hours to clap back? Of course, speaking about Nicki. The truth is, nobody said that. It was just a challenge presented by Remy Ma, because she stated in her rap, I did this in 48 hours. Basically, can you do the same? And so that's really where this comes from. It's just that challenge. If she had never said that, there would be no 72-hour rule. We'd all be sitting waiting still. But the truth is, in the challenge, it was kind of implied that if you come back after 48 and we gave it 72 because we want our show to be thorough, just to say we could try. But if she comes back anytime after that, it kind of defeats the challenge. So that's all that is. Anyway, thank you everybody. Subscribe, like, get your beats down there, artists. Right down there, link is in the description how to get beats and how to get interviews. What more needs to be said?
We out.
Peace.